So Albo desperately trying to dig himself out of his own hole, knowing that the barrackers on the bus and his media mates will desperately get back to that strategy of being Aussie Joe Biden, where he'll slide his way back into power. Well, he today decided to go full attack and full lie.
If Scott Morrison is re-elected, we can expect cuts to health, cuts to education, cuts to other essential services, because this is a Prime Minister who only defines action by what's in the short-term political interest of himself.
Now, it is a lie. I'm about to demonstrate why it is a lie. But if this bloke thinks that his path to the Prime Ministership is the lowest road to the highest office, well, he's going to meet a roadblock in me each and every night, and hopefully in you at the ballot box. Your vote matters. Your preferences matter. If we're headed to a hung parliament, dear God, if we end up with those nutty independents being in charge of things, let alone the Greens, telling Albo which way to go as he goes each way through an election campaign. Oh, and by the way, on the Aussie Joe Biden stuff, he knocked off at lunchtime today. He was back into the virtual basement. He is trying to now hide, and the play is lie in the morning, hide in the afternoon. Lie in the morning, hide in the afternoon. Media, do your rest. Now, the reason they think they can get away with this is because Anne Rushton has been now named as the next Health Minister of Australia. Now, somehow they've been able to turn around and suggest that something she said 7 years ago about the sustainability of Medicare is the reason why you can't trust her when it comes to Medicare. Again, more Mediscare.
This is a health minister now, designate, if they're successful in the election, who we know will undermine Medicare, who has said that the current model is not sustainable, who has said that Medicare funding is just putting things on the credit card and that it needs to change.
Now, for this to be true, we have to assume that everything said by a politician 7 years ago is what they truly believe. Well, Albo, you do remember that 7 years ago, 2015, is when you said you didn't have the heart to turn around boats. Remember, that's what you said 7 years ago. So if Anne Rushton, what she said 7 years ago, no one changes their mind, then we have to believe exactly the same thing about you on boats. This was you 7 years ago.
I'm of the view that I would just find it. I couldn't ask someone else to do something that I couldn't see myself doing. And if people were in a boat, including families and children, I myself couldn't turn that around. I would want to make sure that they were safe and secure. That was a position that I came to.
So which is it, Albo? 7 years matters or it doesn't? Would that be you being each way Albo again? For his part, the Prime Minister, preempting this garbage, made it very clear that he actually passed a law guaranteeing Medicare. That's why it's a lie.
I introduced the legislation to guarantee Medicare and to guarantee the pharmaceutical benefits scheme.
And to drive this home, here's the actual budget numbers on how much money the Australian government has been spending when it comes to health. Let's go back to 2018-19. It was $80 billion, then $87 billion, then $93 billion. And then because people were locked in their house for a large amount of time, it went to 90, back up to 93 this year, and next year, $97 billion. Now, I mightn't be the sharpest tool in the shed, according to some, but I know the difference between a cut and an increase. And when the numbers go up, it's an increase, Albo. That's why I make no apologies for declaring Mediscare 2.0 to be a lie.